You're locked into the Grizzly Digital Network. It's time for Grizzlies Live. Now, let's go live to the voice of the Grizzlies, Matt Mahony.
Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting year of Grizzly Athletics. We get things kicked off with our regular Wednesday at 12 noon home right here at Newk Eatery in Lawrenceville off of Duluth Highway and Lawrenceville Swanee Road. And we start with head men's soccer coach Steve DeCou. Coach, are we ready? Are we excited? Are we getting there?
It's good to be back, man, with you, with scrimmages going.
I miss this place. Is it okay to say?
It's okay.
Like,
it's okay.
We
Food's good?
Food is great. We walked in the door a couple hours ago to start setting up. And I went past the menu and I went, oh, I remember there's my favorite sandwich, my favorite salad.
Let's hurry up. Let's go, because
okay.
we can eat afterwards.
We're on the clock. All right, let's dive into it. Coach, soccer preseason camp is upon us. Changed the schedule a little bit because now school has started up, but how has preseason gone so far?
No, preseason has been excellent. They came in fit. We went through the heart, last week they got in on the 5th, and then until the 13th we had double sessions. And so we pushed them a bit harder this year, and they've really responded well.
That's fantastic. And before we get too far into this, we want to introduce officially, well, not officially, but introduce to the show your new assistant coach, Stephen McGinnis. And I believe the last time you were on the show in the spring, I love breaking news here. And I don't know if we break news as so much we strain it here on the Grizzly Digital Network. We strain our news. But we were close to breaking the news of who the actual name was. He had to go through all the HR department.
Yep.
And you got an email literally right after you got off the show where we're sitting here eating lunch.
Yep.
Stephen McGinnis, new assistant coach.
In April, when I walked off, I had the email that he was officially hired. He'd passed the background check, which was a big concern for us. No, not really, but
especially for an Irish guy like
an Irish
Steve.
guy. But no, Steve's brought great energy to the team. Obviously great knowledge. He's a great coach. I mean, he's got the same coaching licenses that I do. He played at Darton for 2 years and then transferred to Lander. Very successful player. Then transitioned into the coaching realm and did very well with Coach Van Taylor up there. And so I couldn't be more than excited to have Steele on staff. At my previous school, I had a number of Irish guys, and Steele was from the same school and was teammates with them. And so
nice.
I already knew what he was going to bring. The minute he put in his resume, I mean, it was like, this is the guy I wanted. And so he's done a great job for us and has really helped tweak some of the things we've done. We haven't done a complete, change of everything, but
sure.
He's helped us bring a different perspective and has really helped get the most out of the guys thus far.
So welcome aboard Coach McGinnis here. Around the halls we call him Steele, but if the guy's sitting right next to Coach DeCou on game day and on practices, be sure to introduce yourself and say hi.
He's the guy with the better beard than I have. So
does have a sweet beard,
got
sweet
a good
Irish
beard.
Well, let's dive into this team and this roster. You got upwards of 10 players that returned from last year's team that have logged some serious minutes. What's the demographic of this team? Is this not necessarily a rebuilding, or are we trying to gain on last year's experiences? Talk to me about this roster.
I thought last year we were a little young, and some of that inexperience came to haunt us. So guys like Andy White and Jack Gurr and Sammy Gomes are, another year older, another year wiser, another year better. And then we incorporated about another 15, 16 guys who, very talented, some transfers, Cameron St. Prix Mitchell, the AII conference, the tournament MVP, and then some quality freshmen who have really come in and did very well thus far.
Had a couple of scrimmages under your belt so far here. We know the names, Sharp, Morty, Gomes. Give me a name of, maybe you might have listed one there, of we don't know yet, but we should know real soon.
Well, I listed St. Prix Mitchell. Another name is Thornell, Oakley, and Hirsch. Sagi Hirsch is from Haifa, Israel. Going to have an opportunity to fill that left back role that we've been desperately looking for the last couple of years. Oakley, Jamar Oakley, freshman, played at Georgia United. He's come in and he's a little reminiscent of Ibra, of David Burke. He's quick, he's tall, he's got great feet. Malik Thornell from South Gwinnett High School came in, is fighting for that right back spot. But all these guys bring is a great athleticism and a great technique.
And a whole nother week before the season gets kicked off, so a lot of those position battles still there yet to be figured out. We'll see the debut of the Grizzlies next Friday, and having a front row seat to these scrimmages and preseason practice. Really looking forward to not only what that 11 looks like on Friday night, but how they play together. What's sort of the chemistry and the makeup of this team in the locker room moving forward here?
That was one of the emphasis from last spring. We did a great job of working on chemistry, working on the culture. And so the returners, those guys came back and brought it with them, and the new guys have seamlessly fit right in. That's the one thing I'm hearing is, Coach, these freshmen, one, they're good players, two, they're even better people. They're being great teammates. They're, they bought into everything we're doing right away. And so that's what you love to hear as a coach. I mean, where we are at this point in preseason is we're tweaking things. In years past, James Williams, our athletic trainer, because he's helping us, he's around the whole time, the culture would be here, or the togetherness, and then we try to get him to here, and then we could move forward. To be honest, James and I were talking last night after the scrimmage. We're here. We're already here. Now it's just fine-tuning, and as we go into the season, now we're working on stuff today that we might have been working on in September, October in years past.
So you've got everybody tugging on the rope in the same direction here. Have you had the conversation about goals? Is there sort of a success or failure goals on this season, or are we still trying to implement those a little bit?
I mean, the goals in this athletic department, it's simple. It's trophies or bust. And our expectations are to, I'm going to say it, our expectations are to win the conference, get to nationals, get to Florida to the final site, and hopefully be playing on December 3rd for a national championship. I mean, if you aim high and hit your target, then you've accomplished quite a bit. If we say, we just want to have a nice season, and we set our sights low and we miss, that's horrible. If we set our sights high for a national championship and we just miss, that's still an incredible year we had. So going into it, some of the leadership books talk about what's your one word for the year. And the one word for us is simple, it's win. And that's not necessarily on the scoreboard. That's, be the best you can be in everything you do, in the classroom, in the community, and on the field. And if we get better, you'll see #win with everything I put out there. That's not, so at the end of the day, we've scored one more goal than the opponent. Obviously, that's what we want to do.
Sure.
But if we do everything we're supposed to up until that point and embrace the process, we'll get there. If we embrace the journey, not the destination,
sure,
we're gonna have a successful year.
What's the process look a little bit more than a week out? First game of the season, we're gonna continue the tradition, the Grizzly Classic, Friday and Saturday, but it doesn't start this week. It starts next week, the 26th against St. Thomas. What's the process look like over the next 7 or 8 days?
Well, tomorrow night we've got a monster test of a scrimmage. So come out at 7 o'clock and you'll see who it is. I'm still trying to work on our lineup. What's the best 11? What are the best subs? What gives us the best permutations? Where do we get the best balance in the midfield? From athleticism to smarts to craftiness to guile to just hardness, who's going to get a tackle in. We're trying to work out that. We're starting to get an idea, but so we've got to figure that out. And then leading up, if you ask, what do we have to do? We've just got to fine tune. Guys, the attackers have to get better in front of goal. We're creating opportunities. We're not finishing enough for my liking. Ball possession, retention's been very good. Defensively, I really feel some of the goals we've allowed are not teams beating us, it's us mental breakdowns here. But part of that is getting the continuity of playing with the guy next to you. So it's working on things like that. Fine-tune some things and be ready to roll on Friday night, and let's get it started in a positive.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be there in spirit. We can't wait. I know the fans are chomping at the bit. We've got huge feedback on social media, Twitter, Facebook. You guys have been active already this season, and we're expecting a big crowd next Friday night under the lights against St. Thomas on the men's side, part of the Grizzly Classic. 4 games in 2 days, right?
You got it.
Ooh, it's going to be a lot of good soccer, too.
A lot of good soccer.
We're done with Steve DeCou here. We're going to have Chris Kouns on the other side of this. But for the time being, we're going to take a look at the Grizzly women's soccer preseason update for you, live right here on Grizzlies Live on the Grizzly Digital Network. As Chris Kouns enters his second year at the helm of Grizzly women's soccer, the Grizzlies look to build on last year's championship run heading into the 2016 season.
So this spring, the returning players did a terrific job really buying into it, buying into the work rate, buying into the types of things we were asking them to do individually. I mean, the mentality now is so much better because we have more players who are dedicated to the why. Why are you here, and why do you want to be here, and why do you want to be successful? That has enabled our mentality to have a little bit higher expectations and to want to work. And with 17 relative newcomers, I think that is a very important part to have that. Lots of good things in the first week. What the second week showed us was that we're not quite as deep as we might have hoped, and we're not quite as fit as we might have hoped, because now we've picked up some little injuries. The scrimmage was what you expect out of 30 minutes. So we put together Nicole's positivity. We put together Sammy's willingness to learn. We put together Yarger's consistency. That'll be a great thing if we take out of this. And then in terms of the off the field stuff, well, we're reminding them you're a scholar athlete. You're not just here for soccer. You know, registering for classes, the media training, and in terms of what Joe's bringing to the table with their running mechanics. We've done a lot of things to really try to establish this group as a team. And we hope that the overall teamwork and focus and positivity is going to show up. And I think that's what is exciting, as you know that that's ahead of you.
The Grizzlies will kick off the 2016 season right here at the Grizzlies Soccer Complex under the lights Friday night, August 19th versus St. Thomas. For more information, log on to GrizzlyAthletics.com, including a full season schedule. From Lawrenceville, Georgia, I'm Matt Mahoney for the Grizzly Digital Network. Good recovery.
Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grizzlies Live here at Newk City. We're joined by GDC Women's Soccer Coach Chris Kouns. How we doing?
Doing wonderful today, sir. How about you?
Are we selling anything today?
Not that I know of.
How is it? Has the book taken off a little bit?
Well, the book has taken off a little bit. I'm actually, believe it or not, you'll be excited about this, I'm in the middle of the second book.
I love it. I love it.
So the second book is supposed to be released at the end of August, beginning of September, so we will we'll see how it goes.
Like in a couple weeks?
Like in, yeah, I've got 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks.
You guys got to keep up. More books from Chris Kouns' office. I love it. Well, how was your summer? I mean, apparently you're writing a book all summer.
It's been busy.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's part of the excitement. Is it keeps it fresh and it makes you want to improve and want to do things because you're constantly learning.
Sure.
And at my age, I need to learn all I can. So.
Fair enough. This preseason has been different from you.
Yep.
Because this is year 2 at the helm now. Sometimes I assume, tell me if I'm wrong, coming into year 1, it's chaotic. You got stuff all over the place and you're just trying to get people to move in the right direction here, herding cattle basically. But this year it's different. Why has this year been different?
I tell you, I think your analogy is somewhat accurate. It's more like herding cats because cattle at least go in a general direction. But I think that, yeah, changing the culture was a very big undertaking. And I think that in terms of for the players and for the coaching staff, last year we hit the ground running and tried to implement so many different things that it certainly was a bit chaotic in the middle of all of our successes. I think that now we have somewhat of an identity established, and I think that we're very excited about the direction we're going. So it's been much more relaxing.
Fair enough. And you guys have had a longer preseason camp because your season starts sooner, as in 2 days from now.
Yeah.
But what's been a highlight? What's been a moment where you go, wow, that's special?
I'm not going to lie, the highlight was the first day. I mean, when they came in and we just played, we don't do a fitness test, so they just played the first day, Dree and I looked at each other and we're like, this is going to be all right. And I think that what we saw in terms of the athleticism, what we saw in terms of the potential from the very first day was really exciting.
You got 24 girls on roster here. More than a handful are coming back from last year's squad that made it to the NAIA National Tournament for the first time here. Talk to me about what's the responsibility of some of those returners, those older veterans that are in their senior season, like NIKKI, LEFEVRE, Tiffany Rodriguez, and Hannah Engelbrecht.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is there are only 3 seniors and only 3 juniors. So even though we have some players returning, the crux of the leadership falls on those guys. And I think that there's a lot to be said for being an upperclassman who's been part of a change and being an upperclassman who wants to leave their mark and their legacy on a program. I think that all 3 of them have been terrific in terms of their leadership by example, the work rate they're putting in, the focus, and their maturity. I think we lacked the maturity last year. That's not to say that our seniors were immature, but we lacked an overall maturity that these 3 seniors, as well as their junior compatriots, have really brought to this team this time around.
So you talk about all the newcomers. Give me a name we don't know today, but maybe Friday night we'll get to know, and by a couple of weeks into the season we'll know pretty well.
I think that there's a potential for 2 names that you'll see a lot, and I think that's going to be Samantha Thornton, Sammy we call her, and Anna Gonzalez. I think that both of those, because as you know I like to attack, I think both of those will be on the score sheet in the very near future, if not Friday night, and I think that they have a great deal of potential once they learn our system and once they really feel comfortable of making some impacts.
And for the Grizzly fans with amnesia, don't forget it's not 2 names you're going to have to learn. I've already started to dive into the whole 24-man roster. We're going to get them all in there at some point.
You might be right.
It's like a hockey game. It's just so many changes so quickly. It's high pace. It's high intense. Everybody moving and attacking forward, like you said. How do you how do you build on last year? Because that's ultimately the goal. Is you laid the foundation last year, and more than just getting to championship matches or going to the national tournament for the first time. How do you build on last year's kind of momentum? Because this year's schedule is pretty tough. I mean, there's 3 teams in the top 25, another receiving votes. 2 of them are in the top 10, and it's only going to get harder from there.
Yeah, I think for us, and I was actually just talking to Jason about this in terms of the pregame article, for us it really is about the consistency. You know, I mean, it was nice to get to a final, it was nice to make it to the national tournament for the first time, but consistent day in and day out, can we do what we want and can we be who we want to be? And honestly, I think that if we focus more on that process than on the results aspect of it, we're going to end up in those places anyways. And so for me, I think that that's where we started to lay the foundation last year, but now it's, can you really make the walls sturdy and firm, and can you count on them?
Sure.
And that's going to be the difference.
Is there an early test to see how sturdy those walls are on the schedule?
I think that honestly, I mean, Friday night is going to be a test. I think that, you know, obviously they beat us last year as they opened up. I think they're a quality side. They've got some really athletic kids. They've got 3 little attacking players that were really a handful. So I think if we come out and we can mesh well and we can put together what we'd like to put together, I think that's going to be a good barometer for where we can go. That's not to say we have to win it, but of course we want to win it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, that's the first one. After that, I would say that the game at University of Cumberland's, the 4th game of the year, I think that's going to be another one that kind of, right before that trip to Florida, how do we look? How clean are we? How concise are we in our pressing and those type of things?
And not to spoil Friday night's pregame interview and lead-in, but we dug ourselves a hole early in St. Thomas. A lot of inclement weather elements we had to deal with. We got down 3-0 at halftime, and Bristol came up huge late with 2 goals to make it a 1-goal difference. You know, you bring them back home. It's a year later. You know, I'm looking forward to getting off the blocks.
I think it was.
I'm excited.
There was a lot of
distractions.
And in fact, we actually scored the game tying goal and it was called back for offsides. Not sure about that. But anyways, that's just how it is. And so I think, you know, we're certainly looking forward to being at home. And we only fell twice at home last year, and once was to an amazing Embry-Riddle team, and once was in the final. So
Embry-Riddle back on the schedule again this year, go down to Florida.
Yep.
We could talk all day long about soccer.
It is
but
good.
Before I let you go here, what's the demeanor of this team? Has there been a goal set from last year's, hey, you know, getting back to the national tournament would be great, but is there something bigger on the horizon for this group, and where does it come from? Does it come from coach, or does it come from the players?
I'll be honest, this year I think there's an internal expectation among them that now they expect themselves to be at that level. And that's always great as a coach to have. But at the same time, I think keeping them focused on the process is going to be more important than keeping them focused on where they want to go.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, the process will take us there, but they have very high expectations for themselves, and I think they can be fulfilled.
Well, Coach, thanks again for dropping by.
Appreciate it,
You got
sir.
to practice this afternoon?
Yep, 3 o'clock.
Let a little tune-up tomorrow, and we get ready to go Friday night.
We're ready to roll.
We're looking forward to it. Well, speaking of those Grizzlies, let's get to know them a little bit better here as we meet the 2016 GGC women's soccer team right here on Grizzlies Live in Newk Eatery on the Grizzly Digital Network.
Courtney Hicks, Johns Creek, Georgia, goalkeeper. Courtney McKenzie, Ackworth, Georgia, goalkeeper.
Samantha Buchanan, Jackson, California, defense.
Kimmy Angelone, Weston, Florida, forward.
Kelsey Ritchie, La Quinta, California, midfield.
Elinor Bertilsson, Linköping, Sweden, defender.
Dominique Fletcher, McDonough, Georgia, forward. Caitlin Berry, Burnham, England, forward.
Amy Mullen, Gold Coast, Australia, forward.
Nikki Lefevre, McDonough, Georgia, forward. Lauren Moss, Canton, Georgia, midfield.
Tiffany Rodriguez, Atlanta, Georgia, midfield.
Bristol Countess, Harvest, Alabama, midfielder. Ana Gonzalez, Miranda de Ebro, Spain, forward.
Nicole Rodriguez, Atlanta, Georgia, defender.
Stina Anderson, Norrköping, Sweden, midfielder.
Hannah Engelbrecht, Conyers, Georgia, defender.
Natalie FERRIN, Tampa, Florida, defender. Sam Thornton, Canton, Georgia, forward.
Lexi Dietz, Papillion, Nebraska, defender. Camila Guadarrama, Kennesaw, Georgia, defender. Melissa Hankin, Beaufort, Georgia, forward.
Mandy Yarger, Woodstock, Georgia, defender. Sophie Hua, Netflix, New Zealand, goalkeeper.
As Chris Kouns enters his second year at the helm of Grizzly women's soccer, the Grizzlies look to build on last year's championship run heading into the 2016 season.
So this spring, the returning players did a terrific job really buying into it, buying into the work rate, buying into the types of things we were asking them to do individually. I mean, the mentality now is so much better because we have more players who are dedicated to the why. Why are you here, and why do you want to be here, and why do you want to be successful? That has enabled our mentality to have a little bit higher expectations and to want to work. And with 17 relative newcomers, I think that is a very important part to have that. Lots of good things in the first week. What the second week showed us was that we're not quite as deep as we might have hoped, and we're not quite as fit as we might have hoped, because now we've picked up some little injuries. Yeah, the scrimmage was what you expect out of 30 minutes. So we put together Nicole's positivity. We put together Sammy's willingness to learn. We put together Yarger's consistency. That'll be a great thing if we take out of this. And then in terms of the off-the-field stuff, we're reminding them you're a scholar athlete. You're not just here for soccer. You know, registering for classes, the media training, and in terms of what Joe's bringing to the table with their running mechanics. We've done a lot of things to really try to establish this group as a team. And we hope that the overall teamwork and focus and positivity is going to show up. And I think that's what is exciting, is you know that that's ahead of you.
The Grizzlies will kick off the 2016 season right here at the Grizzly Soccer Complex under the lights Friday night, August 19th versus St. Thomas. For more information, log on to GrizzlyAthletics.com, including a full season schedule. From Lawrenceville, Georgia, I'm Matt Mahony for the Grizzly Digital Network. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Grizzlies Live in Newk City. We ran into a friend, a fellow Grizzly, Charles, who works over at GGC right in the facilities department, right?
That's correct.
Charles, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. This is a little bit of a loaded question. What brings you to Newk's today?
Oh, they have awesome and fantastic salads.
So a fan of ours and a fan of the shows here, we're glad to have you here, and we're going to start the regular tradition again of answering our Grizzly trivia question live on the show. Do you think you can handle it?
I think I could swing it.
All right, well, I'll give you a little preview here. We're talking about women's soccer, and the question is, what year did GGC women's soccer qualify for the NAI National Championships? And I'll give you a little multiple choice there, and to make things a little easier for you, we've only played soccer for 4 years, so those are 4 seasons right there. Which one do you think it is?
I'm guessing A, 2015. 2015
is the correct answer. Last year we went to the NAI National Championships. We're looking forward to going back there again. So Charles, as our correct answer, we've got a couple of things for you here. One, it's 4 tickets to the next game, and a little Chick-fil-A prize on the back for you there. So those are yours. And then our schedule magnets and our posters right there for you. Grizzly prize pack is all yours. Sounds good. Charles, gonna get a Go Grizzlies?
Go Grizzlies.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Charles is a big fan, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you guys Friday night under the lights. Chris Kouns and GGC Women's Soccer is going to take on St. Thomas at 7 o'clock. You're going to want to be there. As always, free admission with your claw card. Fans can watch online on GrizzlyAthletics.com on the Grizzly Digital Network. Tiffany Rodriguez is ready to go. I'm ready to go. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be so exciting to kick off this season. Just going to be a phenomenal atmosphere. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. In the meantime, you've got some homework, folks. Log on to your social media, especially Twitter. Everybody's on Twitter now. Each sports team, you can look at @GGC_W Soccer. Women's soccer is a Twitter handle. Men's soccer is a Twitter handle. Steve and Chris are really active on there as well, so be sure to follow them leading up to game day for some quality content as well. I say thumbs up, but I think I know, right? Looking forward to seeing you guys Friday night. I'm Matt Mahony signing off here, Grizzlies Live at Newk Eatery. Big thanks to Greg and the crew for having us back. I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm Matt Mahony saying so long, everybody. This is the Grizzly Digital Network.
We'd like to thank our corporate sponsors for making today's broadcast possible. For the most recent information, log on to GrizzlyAthletics.com.